Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, as you can see, we won the Stanley Cup, which was kind of a surprise considering we won the President's Trophy. I didn't expect us to double up on awards because usually when you win the President's Trophy, you're a first round exit. Well, this team had a fantastic performance en route to its second Stanley Cup of the series. Mind you, this is pretty much a completely different roster than the first Cup winning team. But you can see we had a dominant run sweeping the St. Louis Blues in the first round, taking out the defending Cup champions in Chicago in the second round in 6 games. And then afterwards we went 8-2 as we knocked out Anaheim and Buffalo en route to that Stanley Cup win. And it was very dominant in the fact that we had very good production throughout our entire roster and very good goaltending. As you can see, all these guys here were like point per game. Some of them were very close to point per game, but just missed out on it. And yeah, very good defensive stats for most of these players as well. Some of these guys even chipped in with just a couple goals, like Ryan McLeod, for example, but they were big short-handed goals. So everybody on the team kind of did a job on this roster. You can see everybody that is showing right now had a goal in the playoffs. I think there was a couple other guys that had already sent down to the minors, which is kind of annoying, but some very good stats across the board. And then goaltending wise, as I said, Gabriel Deg was very good, going 16-4 with a .931 save percentage. So I'm hoping that the next step with this team is to maybe win multiple Stanley Cups within a short span. But obviously you never know really with the sim engine what you're going to get. But I'm hoping that we could obviously turn this team into a team that's maybe wins like 2 Stanley Cups at least in a 5-year span, maybe 3 cups at most. But it would be nice to start adding a little bit more considering our roster is still so young. I think there's definitely a lot of window of opportunity for our team to win more cups before we have to start offloading maybe a couple players. But anyways, let's get into your guys' comments and see what you guys have to say about our Stanley Cup win, and then we will get into the draft and resign stage. So the first comment is from Souls, who says, what a dominant season and playoffs, and I totally agree. I didn't expect us to win both the President's Trophy and Stanley Cup in the same season. As you can see, when we go to regular season stats wise, you can see that we won the President's Trophy by only 1 point. So Toronto was very close to winning it. They were actually knocked out in the first round. I think it was by Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of interesting how they were knocked out in round 1. Meanwhile, we were actually all the way in the Stanley Cup Finals and winning the Stanley Cup. Like, we were such a good offensive team in the regular season. You can see we were the best offensive team. We were up there in goals against. Not the best defensive team, but we were up there, which is great to see. Our power play was also the best in the league, and our penalty kill was not very good. Our penalty kill was one thing that really struggled during the regular season, but then we go to the playoff stats, and our team just dictated everything. As you can see, if we go to entire league-wise, we were 16-4. We were scoring 4.75 goals per game, 2.2 goals against, so very good offense and defense. Our power play clicked at 28.4%, and our penalty kill was much better than the regular season at 87%. So very good stat line. We were also very good on the road and solid on the home ice. So 4 shorthanded goals, 2 in the playoffs. Don't keep that for granted. Us and Buffalo were the best shorthanded teams in terms of scoring shorthanded goals. So yeah, we just dominated in every single facet of the game, and hopefully, like I said, we could win multiple Stanley Cups before the series ends, like multiple within the next 5 years or so. The next comment is from Michael Dost, who says, Buffalo wishes they had a GM like this computer sim because it's been a long time with them having a Stanley Cup caliber team. And yeah, it definitely has been. I don't remember if they've won a Stanley Cup in this series. I don't think they have. Let me actually look at the last 5 years of Stanley Cup winners. No, they haven't, at least since 2027. If we look at somebody like Tage Thompson's stats, we'll be able to figure out how far they've made it in the playoffs in this series. So let's go ahead and look at Buffalo's stats here. So Tage Thompson, since he's been there since kind of the beginning, if we go to his playoff stats, they've only made it 3 times in this sim engine so far. 2026, 2027, he played 16 games. So it looks like they play pretty good in the playoffs when they get into the playoffs, but they don't make it consistently. This is only this first time, I guess, they've made it back-to-back years. So who knows, maybe Buffalo will be very good again next year and make it to the playoffs and win a Stanley Cup. But you can see as of right now, they've only made it 3 times in, I guess, a 7 or 8 year span. I don't know exactly what year we're in at this point, but they haven't really made it too much. And then the last and final comment is from Saturn Otaku, who says, if the internet is to be believed, you would be one of the youngest teams ever to win a cup, but not the youngest in the last 50 or so years. That title supposedly belongs to the 85-86 Canadians, who had an average age of just 24.48. As for the offseason, some tough decisions ahead. You should still have a couple older guys on the roster for maybe 1 more year, so there's some veteran presence. Re-signing McLeod is a no-brainer, but I think McAvoy will be too expensive. You could probably find a reasonably priced old demon in the draft. Just pick whoever, LOL. So I totally agree with what you're saying about not bringing back McAvoy. I think obviously he's going to cost us a lot. Like when I was looking at the contract demands, I think it was like 12 million bucks that he was wanting, which is quite a bit. Obviously Ryan McLeod should be a nice cheap option for our 4th line, so likely we'll be bringing him back. And we'll try and make our tougher decisions maybe in the next episode, because there is some decisions I want to make with this team, but I don't really know exactly what I want to do. And I'm going to already propose this to you guys because it's early in the episode, and that way you guys might actually see it. So what I'm suggesting is that we might move out from Cole Perfetti. We could also move out potentially from Stankoven if we really want to, but what I'm proposing is we move out from Perfetti. We could run both Mises as the top 2 centers, and then Stankoven could stay in the top 6 with Lucius and all that. The reason why I would want to move somebody in the top 6 is because I think Philip Grosek should be in the top 6 next season. If we look at our forwards right now, you can see that we have Misa, we have Hellenius, Lucius. We'd have probably the other Misa, we'd have Grosek and Irving in our top 6, which kind of pushes Perfetti and Stankoven out of that top 6 role. So I think moving maybe one of these or both these guys out at some point could be actually beneficial, because these guys are not going to be guys that you want to play on a 3rd line, because they're both listed as 2nd liners. So if we want to get Luke Misa into the top 6, we could do that. But we'd also have to think about what our rest of our lines are going to look like, because even if we move both Perfetti and Stankoven at some point, we could still have Jaquizi, Kagorodov, somebody else, maybe like Wilson, and then we still have a 4th line to set up as well. So we should be still a pretty good team even without moving those 2 guys, but obviously I don't really know what for, and I definitely think Grosek is going to be a very good player next season, considering he's coming off 2 like close to 20 goal seasons in a row. He's had a very good playoffs, 13 goals in 20 games. I think he's just starting to show that he can score goals. You look at his attributes, good offensive awareness, pretty damn good shot. So I think he deserves a chance to prove himself in that top 6 role. So that's why I'm proposing potentially getting him up there. So then we have Grosek and Irving in our top 6. And we have 2 very solid goal scorers. And I guess, yeah, Perfetti and Stankoven get replaced at some point. But for right now, obviously, I'm going to keep that the same. But I want your guys' opinion on what we should do with the top 6. Because obviously, we have like technically 8 forwards that could play in the top 6. And 2 of them probably should go. Obviously, you could look at age as a big thing. So Lucius would be one of the older ones. Same with Perfetti, Stankoven. But the rest of these guys like Irving, Grosek, Luke Misa, Michael Misa, Hellenius, I'd rather hold on to those guys, I think. So it's a tough decision, but it's definitely something we need to think about now probably rather than later, because obviously just losing one of them to free agency would not be a great thing. I would rather get some assets back for one of them. So we have some decisions for sure to make. But anyways, that's that. Let's get into this draft. I honestly don't really know what I'm looking for in this draft. I think more defensive prospects over forward prospects, because we definitely don't have a lot of defensive prospects in the minors. So I'm going to probably prioritize defense, maybe some goaltending prospects as well, but obviously I'll probably just take whatever's nice out there. If there's a low elite forward, I'm not going to say no to that. So let's hop into this draft and re-sign stage and see what we could do. Obviously, I'll try my best to re-sign as much players as possible on our team, and then we can make some tougher decisions, like I said, in next episode. So anyways, Washington has the first overall pick, followed by Columbus, Calgary, Vegas, and Seattle. Okay, when are we picking again? Probably last, right? Since we just won the Stanley Cup. Yes, okay. I don't see any reason to want to try and move up, because I'm not the type of person that moves up after winning a Stanley Cup really. But let's take a look at this draft class and see what's supposed to go around 32. Let's see. So I don't remember, to be honest. Oh yeah, the medium top 9s. Yeah, this might not be a great draft class. There was that Kulikov guy. Oh yeah, we might take Kulikov, because even though I said we need defenders and goaltending prospects maybe, Alexander Kulikov's only 2 years out as a top 6-4 prospect, so I think Kulikov is probably the high up one on my list over guys like Omar, who's 3 years out. So I'll probably lean towards taking Kulikov. And then obviously after that we'll probably try and find more defenders, but it might not be a good defensive class. Like if we look at defensemen right now, There's not a lot projected to go in the first round. There was Semin who we were looking at, but I don't know for a fact that he's low elite. That's the only problem. Like, he could easily be like a low top 4 or medium top 60, so it's kind of a risk. But we'll probably end up taking like low 4 in a later round and hoping that they develop into being something. But I definitely think defensive prospects are somewhere where we need to work on. Obviously, when we trade away Perfetti and stuff like that at some point, we could always try and get ourselves some defensive prospects back in those trades just to recoup some assets. So, any good goalie prospects in this draft? Not until the second round. Maybe we take a chance with a goalie prospect. This guy's 19 already, so I don't know why he's still supposed to go in this draft this early on. I'd probably prefer an 18-year-old goalie, but some of them, maybe this guy would be good. Tommy Ladd, Bernard Bouillon. He's a goalie. Medium starter there in Cavapel. It would be okay to have a starter prospect, potentially. I mean, he might be a low overall, but we'll see. We'll definitely target some areas, but no guarantees we're actually going to get anything good in this draft because it doesn't really look the best on paper. So, anyways, let's take a look at this year's top 5. So, the Washington Capitals, their first overall pick is going to be Ekman. Mr. Oscar Ekman. He's a medium elite 83 overall sniper. Center sniper, too, with good face-off stats. So, yeah, this guy's got very good shooting. His shooting is already better than Groshek's and probably similar to what Irving's is like. So, once that guy's offensive awareness eclipses 90+, this guy's going to be a very good goal scorer. And maybe he will be the next Alex Ovechkin, but at center instead of left wing, right wing. Columbus at 2 takes the defenseman in Sliger. Biedrich Sliger. Two-way defender. Really good shot power. Not so much accuracy, so maybe more like a Zdeno Chara type on paper, but a very short one because he's 5'11" by comparison to 6'9". Not saying 5'11" is short because obviously I'm 5'11", but well, closer to 6 feet, I guess. But Angelo Sanderson, 5'9" guy. Looks like he's going to be a... Yeah, he's definitely not that physical because of his size, but he's got good offensive awareness, really good shooting as well, similar to what Groshek's like. That guy's going to be pretty good too. Vegas at 4 takes Nylander, an offensive defenseman. So there's Torsten Nylander. Yeah, this guy's going to take a little bit probably to develop, but once that offensive awareness gets above a 90, the passing gets up there, he should be pretty good. Obviously, his shot accuracy is not very good either, but maybe that develops too. So kind of similar to the other defender with low accuracy. And Seattle at 5 will take another Verada. We just faced a Verada in the Cup Finals with Buffalo, and they get Wojtek Verada, who's a grinder. Interesting, medium elite grinder. We'll see how this guy develops. Very good defensive awareness. Maybe becomes a very good penalty killer down the road, or takes a lot of penalties. Who knows? Let's send to our pick at 32 and see if we could grab that guy we want. I think we should be able to. Yes, we can. Perfect. Let me just see if we missed anything interesting, though, because maybe we could have tried to move up, but I don't really like to move up in the draft that much. Oh, there was the one. Oh, Semin was a low elite, but he went before our pick. Oh, that one would have been a nice one. Sergei Semin, it was a low elite, but we had no way of telling for sure he was actually low elite. That would have been a nice pick. I guess we could try and still make a trade because there is 2 players I wouldn't mind moving their rights to for like maybe a future pick. So let me go offer trade and see if there's any maybe potential trades I could get for these 2 guys. Because I am thinking of potentially trading away the rights to 2 guys. And you guys probably know who I'm talking about. Those being Nilstorp. So I'll add him to the trading asset. And the other guy was thinking about moving. Where is he? Trying to. Oh, Yakula. There he is. Yeah, those 2 guys both have RFA status, but I don't have any use for them. That's the only thing. Maybe I should go to the trade finder instead. So let me actually call it timeout just because we're on the clock too. I didn't even realize. So if I go find trade, let me just see what we could potentially get for the 2 of those guys because they're not going to really do much for our roster at this point. Because we have already enough. I didn't want to do that. God damn. I'm trying to remember these random controls for some weird reason. You know, it's only been a few days since I've done this. So Yakula and Nilstorp. They both probably don't have the most trade value in the world, but we could see what we could get potentially for them. I'm hoping more for like a future pick or something like that. 2 third-round picks, a 4th and a 5th. Geeky, no thank you. 2 third-round picks isn't that bad. Yeah, I might just take the 2 third-round picks. Yeah, just trade them to the team we just beat in the Cup Finals. Yeah, we could do that. Let's just give Buffalo a prize for giving us that Stanley Cup win. So, Yakula and Nilstorp will head to Buffalo. Hopefully they'll re-sign them since they're both pending RFAs. And then we'll obviously have more roster space and stuff like that. So, I'm not going to re-sign these guys anyways because they're not the best players on paper. And yeah, we'll take in 2 third-round picks. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's a good way to recuperate some assets because obviously we weren't going to use them, and I don't think they're going to develop much anyways. Let's make our first selection of this draft, which is going to be Kulikov. 2 years out, he's a sniper, has good shot, obviously good offensive instincts. It's apparently like Theo Fleury, so should be pretty solid. Let's see how good he is. I have to scroll back to see his overall. It's kind of annoying. We know that he's a top 6 for sure, but I don't know. Oh, 70 overall. Okay, that's really good. That is really good. 70 overall at 18. Yeah, that shooting's pretty nice already. 84s across the board. Offensive awareness a little bit low. Defense is actually better than expected. Once he starts developing, he should be pretty good, though. Especially with that shooting category. So, Alexander Kulikov has joined your Winnipeg Jets. I might try and trade away some more of my picks because this draft class isn't really the best, to be honest. Like, now we have multiple third-rounders in this year's draft. If we go to the draft board, let's see this. Yeah, see, we have 2 seconds and 3 thirds. I almost feel like just trading this away for a future first-round pick. Just because I'm not sold on this draft class. But there could be potential steals out there, too, which is interesting. Huh. What if I traded away all my third-round picks, so at least? Because I don't know if I really need those third-rounders. Is there anything I could get for these guys? I should have went to the trade finder. Let's see. Okay, so there's people that want the third-rounder. I don't know if I really should do that. I feel like it's kind of cheesing. We'll keep it the same. We'll just try and draft with those picks, and hopefully we can get some good stuff. Otherwise, those picks are not really meaningful at all, but... Let's sim to our next pick at 41. Since we are now here in the second round, we have 2 selections. Oh, there's Reason. That's actually not bad. I was looking at Reason at the end of last episode. I remember him. 3 years out, top 6 forward. And then there's also Zigomanis. BCC, DBC. Yeah, he's got good shooting, no, but his other stats are a little bit lower. Yeah, I think I would take Stefan Reason with our pick here. But there could be a medium 4 in this defender, which would be nice, but I doubt it. He could be a medium 4, though. Do I take the risk with Terrell Primo? He's 20 years old. That's already deteriorating me right there, so I don't think I'm going to take him. Just because of that. There's a couple goalies supposed to go in this round as well. Let's go Stefan Reason here. Stefan Reason. 64 overall, power 4, top 6. Not bad. Maybe he becomes a traded asset, but still 2 solid forward prospects for our team. Not that it's exactly what I was looking for. Like I said, I'm more prioritizing defense, but our second round pick for a 4th and a 6th, that sounds like a big fall off. Like we literally fall from 64th to 98th. Unless this draft class is just really weak and they're trying to tell me that, but I'm not going to do that. No, thank you. That sounds not great. So, we could just go for a goalie prospect at this stage. Let me take a look at Schremp a little bit. I don't think Schremp's that good, though. He guaranteed has no weakness, though. 18 years of age. He's probably like a low 4. We've had also multiple Scarlet prospects, which is kind of funny. But he doesn't look really that great on paper. Bullion, if we want to get a goalie prospect, 5 years out. Who do we want to go for? I'm going to go with Schremp here. I'm going to just take a chance on a defenseman because we need defensive prospects. Can't even see how good he is. Goddamn. I hate when it goes all the way to the next round. Let's see. Medium top 6. 63 is not bad, though. At 18, but not much potential, unfortunately. Not a terrible pick, but not a great pick for sure. Did we miss anything interesting, though, before our selection? Oh, Loktionov was a low elite, and Ladd was a medium elite goaltender, so we definitely made a bit of a weird selection. But I didn't really want none of these medium elite goalies, I don't think, that much. Rudy Weinreich would have been really nice, but he's already 19 years of age. So, I'd say our pick is okay. Let's Sims our pick at 79. But I honestly might want to trade away some of these picks because I don't think this draft class is that good. Bob Bloodoff, yeah, I'm going to trade the rest of our picks away, or at least, or not all of our picks maybe, but I'm definitely trading away the multiple third-round picks. If I trade away all of these third-rounders, stupid thing. If I trade away all these third-rounders into a deal, what the hell? I wanted to go trade finder. Man, I am uncoordinated today for some weird reason with this game, but I am. Let's add all these in. See what we could get for 3 third-round picks. Open trade block. Nothing is found. Seriously. I don't think anybody likes this draft class. No one of the other teams, they're like, yeah, we know it's weak, so we aren't even going to give you an offer. What if I just trade away these 3 third-rounders for a second-rounder next year? Because I don't really give a shit, to be honest. Like, somebody might be able to get some good players with these picks, but I'm not going to be able to find them. So, let's see. Yeah, we could even just trade it to Anaheim. I don't really care who it is. Actually, Anaheim went really far last year in the playoffs. Let me see if there's a different team that wouldn't have. Trying to think on who would be not a great team. It's all the playoff teams that are going to do it, I feel like. Colorado might be falling off soon. So, but they don't have a second for next year or the year afterwards. Or for any of these years, actually. Columbus, they do have a second rounder for next year. So, can we get a second rounder and a third rounder for next year? For our 3 third-round picks? Too far off. What if I just do a second rounder? Accepted. Okay, there we go. So we move out our third rounders for this year because at this stage we're not going to find anything good. And we get ourselves a second round pick for next year instead. So I don't mind that. Maybe I'll take some selections here in this 4th round and stuff like that. Just, oh, okay. This guy's intriguing. He's a defenseman with maybe really good stats. He's 4 years out. Well, Vince Fairchild just fell in our lap. If he's that good, that would be amazing, but I don't know if he is. Vince Fairchild, welcome aboard. And of course, once again, we have to go back. He is only a medium top 6D. So, never mind. He does not actually look that good on paper. I thought he looked fantastic based when we looked at his stats, but apparently he's not that good. He doesn't really have any weakness. He does have 85 passing, which is kind of weird. But, yeah, that's not the best selection in the world, but I'll take it anyways. Let's just see if we can find any meme picks here. Maybe any guys that are actually low elite, like Josiah Holmberg. Let's take a chance on him. I'm not even going to scroll back to see if he actually was low elite. I'll have to just do it on this thing. Low 9. Not great. It is what it is. We didn't even have a 6th round pick. Let's see what our 7th round is looking like. See if there's any low elites potentially. But yeah, this has not been a great draft class. Alexei Sokolov. Let's take a chance on you. And he was also a low 9. Oh well. Not the best draft class for us, but Kulikov and Reason I think are going to be decent prospects for the forward core. Obviously everybody else kind of up in the air if they're actually going to do anything, but it is what it is. Hopefully next year's draft class is a little bit better. But at least we already have a good foundation with our team, so it's not that big of a problem. Let's re-sign our assistant coach if he wants to come back. Yeah, it would be nice because I like our coaching staff quite a bit here in Winnipeg. And it was our goalie coach that retired in the off season, so we're going to have to look into one of those. We got a lot of scouts to bring back, so we'll definitely do that. And yeah, obviously we are going to be looking to get our guys all signed up again for next season. But like I was mentioning before, Charlie McAvoy is likely the big one that's going to be leaving the team after one season. But I think he was a really good stopgap until like other guys are ready to take that jump, which there is at least one defender, maybe 2 defensemen in the AHL that might make that jump next season, so excited about that. Those being Louis Vara and Scarlett, I think, if I remember right. Damn, we have a lot of scouts to re-sign, and that is it. Perfect. Okay. Let's take a look at this Resign stage. How much money we got? $35 million in cap space. That's pretty impressive. So what I'm going to do here is we are going to start off with Philip Groshek. I would love to give this guy an 8-year extension already. Just because, like I said, I think he deserves a chance in the top 6. And we're going to already try the 85% trick on him. I think getting him locked up is kind of important to the depth scoring of this team. So let me do some quick math here. And looks like I might be able to get him for maybe under $6 million. Something like 5.95, which would be great. So we'll see if Philip Groshek accepts that, because that would be very beneficial. Gorodov and stuff like that. That's actually not bad. 3 years at 2. As like kind of like a third line option. Obviously he becomes a UFA at the end of it, but it's a good like test for him to become that guy. And he has been somewhat getting better, I think. Yeah, he just came off a 25 goal season, so you know what? We're gonna give him that 3-year deal. There's no problems with that for me, and I'll give him $2 million on the dot. All these other AHLers will get qualified, I think. I could always let go of like some of the older ones like Barlow and whatnot, but don't know if I want to. Let's just qualify though the other guys. Actually, let me see how much they're asking for. Nordstrom wants a 2-way deal. You know what? You're gonna get that. Cam probably wants 2-way. Yep. And do I want to bring back Barlow? Let's bring him back for 1 year, just as like an AHL captain kind of guy. So, but obviously he could get dealt too. Yeah, I don't even need to qualify a lot of these RFAs because a lot of them just want 2-way contracts. So, might as well just give them the 2-way contracts. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, so obviously Grant is gonna get his 2-way deal. Scarlett might be our backup next season. Yeah, he's definitely gonna be our backup next season. I'm willing to give him the 825. I'm gonna let go of Eustace and Noonan, and then Gabriel Dag. Only 1 year, 7.3. I feel like he's gonna win a Vezina soon. He's just his regular season numbers aren't the best, but he has been getting better almost every year. Playoff wise, he was obviously really good this year too. Let's give him a that's a huge jump up. I'm trying to think of what I want to do with this. Let's just do the 1-year deal for him, and I'm gonna try and talk him down to 7 million. Obviously, I could qualify him, but I'm going to try the 1 year at 7 first. And then all these UFAs almost are going to be gone, except for Ryan McLeod. I might want to bring back Knack, but we have the AHL guys, so I might let him go for now. But, this Nilstorp guy's not really panning out, so he's going to be let go of, I think, just to free up some roster space. He was one of those guys that we drafted at one point. Mishenko, I don't think, is going to make it. He's a 67 and 19, which ain't too bad. But I don't really know if I want to hold on to him. He was a 2nd round pick. Definitely going to sign the lowly, even though he's not really panning out, because we need more defensive prospects. Palat's not going to make it. Mira, 66 at 20. Another guy that was a 2nd round pick. I'm not really sold on some of these guys' stats, to be honest. I kind of do like Mishenko a little bit more because he's younger, so we'll sign Mishenko, but I am going to let go of Mira. And I'm going to let go of LaFerriere. I am going to let go of maybe Knack. I did like Knack's play in the playoffs, but I think I'm going to let him go for now. Obviously, we could bring him back if we want to, but for now, he's going to be let go of. Ryan McLeod, though, 1 year deal. Actually, he wants 2 years, but still, he's very cheap. 1.8 is good for me. And then we should be getting rid of Charlie. We should be getting rid of Noonan as well. So Noonan is going to leave for sure. Thank you for your time here, Eustace. Hopefully you enjoyed that Stanley Cup win. King is going to get his ELC for sure. It will be him and Grant in the AHL. I'm not going to give a contract to this medium only goaltender, and that might be controversial. But a 68 at 22 is not great for a medium only goaltender. Obviously, he could get some crazy development and be good within a year. I don't know if I should give him his ELC or not. He'd be sitting on the bench, that's the only thing. Or we could play him as a backup over Grant, but I don't know if I want to do that. Gonna let go of Jang for sure. Maybe I will give Lorikainen an ELC just in case. But I don't think he's going to become much of anything. We're going to sign him just for the trade value more, maybe. Because he should have still some decent trade value. Maybe not that good, though. And yeah, let's advance today and see if we get those guys signed up. And then obviously, I think we're going to obviously let go Charlie McAvoy, but I still want to see how much cap space we have after all these guys are signed. Okay, so let's go through this quickly. Most of these guys should accept, considering we just won a Stanley Cup. And it looks like most of them did, I think. Oh, Groshek rejected that extension that I gave him. Let me try it again here. Let me try and get him for a little over 6. I'm okay with giving him over $6 million bucks based on his playoff performance. And he should accept that now, I'm hoping, after all these scouts mentioned. And did Groshek accept? He did not. Ooh. Groshek's being a little bit problematic here, but that's okay. We'll give him more money. At least he's an RFA, so I have his rights. 6.35. That will drop us down still to $22 million in cap space, which is kind of nuts. Come on, Groshek, please accept. Although I'm interested in the principal extension, I'm going to reject this. I was clear on how much I was asking for. Oh, he doesn't want to, like, lock himself up. I can understand you're wanting some flexibility there, but you haven't worth my while. Okay, Groshek. We definitely still have time and money to spend on you, so don't worry about it. I know you don't really like us giving you more term, but we're going to find a way to get you signed up here long term. You're going to be in our top 6, so don't worry about it at some point. Let's see if you'll accept that. There you go. 6.75. He is signed for 8 years. We have $22 million in cap space. And we have nobody left to sign because Charlie is likely leaving. Yeah, Charlie would cost us like most of our cap space we have left. So, unfortunately, Charlie McAvoy, thank you for your time here. Thank you for helping contribute to a Stanley Cup win. We wish you the best of luck. So, there we go. We have $22 million in cap space for free agency now. And we have a pretty good roster already on paper for next season. Because we have Gabriel Dag. We have Logan Scarlett, was his name? Was it? Yeah, Logan Scarlett. So we have our 1-2 punch. Granton King in the AHL, as well as Lorkainen as a third string, maybe. Defensively, we have Palin Vandermeer, Cairo Galvis, Vernarski, Scarlett, Louis Vara, Nordstrom. So we have a lot of defenders still, but obviously it's quite a bit weaker without Charlie. We could re-sign Charlie in free agency if we really want to, but it might not be necessary because there might be other defenders out there. Right wing wise, we got Hellenius, Irving, Jacuzzi, Wilson. I'd like to get him into the lineup this year if possible. That's why getting rid of Yakla was important. Left wing wise, we have Groshek, Rafalski, not really probably NHL caliber, but we have Groshek at least. And we have Misa, Lucius, Misa, Perfetti, Stankoven, Keg, Rodov, McLeod. So we have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So technically we have our NHL roster. We just need 2 depth forwards. And then defensively, we could sign ourselves another defenseman, but also we might want to give a chance to Jimmy Scarlett this season. Or Louis Vara for that matter even. So I don't know what we do on the defensive side of things. Goaltending is already pretty much spoken as well. So our roster is almost set for next season already, but we will take a look still at free agency and the trading block just in case there's anything for you guys to give me some feedback on. Because obviously we could still make a blockbuster trade with like guys like Stankoven and Perfetti down the road if we want to as well. But let's take a look at these free agents and see what there is available. Oh my, okay. Let's start off with goaltending first and UFAs. So the best goaltender is Carter Hart. I don't want him. Dostal is there. Wow, Dostal is there after his good run with the Ducks, and then he fell apart against us. We don't really need goaltenders, obviously, but I'll still show you guys anyways. Yeah, we don't really need goalies at all. So there is the goaltenders. Defenseman is something we could target. Obviously, Charlie being the best one, and no teams are interested in him. So we could bring back McAvoy if we want to, but then it gives a chance for Scarlett to play another year in the AHL, and I don't know if he's the type of guy that should spend multiple years in the AHL. There's also Owen Power, though. 3 teams are interested in him at 28 years of age. He is a left-handed defenseman. That's the only thing I don't really like about him. But he is a great defender. So there's Owen Power. He wants a lot of term, too, in his contract and more money than Charlie because he's younger. There's also Simone Nemec, who's not that bad. Simone Nemec could be an interesting one. He is a right-handed defenseman. Good top 4 filler. Might be able to bring in a little bit more offense or around the same offense as Charlie. Actually, maybe not as much offense. Never mind. He doesn't simulate that well. But there is some good defensive options out there if we want to bring in a replacement for Charlie or if we want to bring Charlie back. So, if you guys see anybody here that you want me to bring in instead of playing somebody like Scarlett or Louis Var, let me know. Or we could run those 2 young guys instead and see what ends up happening. So there's that. From a forward perspective, I think we only really need depth forwards, but I'll still show you guys this. So there's like Nikita Kucherov, who's 38 years of age, so he's going to likely drop off soon. Not really much else on the right wing side of things, so it wouldn't be bad to bring back Knack as a depth option. I did really like Knack's play in the playoffs. Left wing wise, Johnny Gaudreau's there, but all these guys are pretty damn old on the left wing side of things, so offense maybe a little bit more barren. Left wing is definitely a lot deeper than the right wing pool though. And left wing is somewhere where we don't have a lot of, so there is all that. Obviously we could bring in a depth option like maybe Puistinen, he's not bad, or Desnoyers, something like that. If we go to centers, wow, Robert Thomas and Quinton Byfield. So there's some very good centers out there this year. Very good. 4 really good centers. Shane Wright and Beniers heading to free agency in the same season. Kind of crazy. So if we wanted more center depth, we could do that. But obviously we already have really good center depth. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, we could use like somebody like a Hintz or a Geeky as a winger instead. Reinhardt as a winger. Roslovic. But I don't think we really need to do that. So I think our team on offense is pretty much set except for depth forwards. I think defense is the one thing we could target, but I don't really think it's mandatory either with the guys coming up if we want to. And final thing, the trading block. Let's see if there's anything interesting that we can potentially make a blockbuster trade with, because like I said, potentially we would look at moving Perfetti and Stankoven to obviously get Grosek into the top 6. So we could make always a blockbuster deal that works well for both teams, and hopefully it gives us another Stanley Cup win over the team we deal with. So Mangiapane, Panarin. Looks like Buffalo's offloading a couple pieces. Carolina. Okay, not really much there. Nick Ehlers on the block. Don't want to bring him back at that contract, to be honest. Sean Monahan, Connor Garland, Jake Neighbors. Some decent players there in Chicago. Sam Girard's decent, but he's 33, and I know he drops off relatively quick, I'm pretty sure. So I don't think I would bring him in. Also, in real life, he's more of a defensive liability, I think. A low elite that is unsigned. Detroit has Tierney on the block. That's kind of intriguing a bit, but also with Lindholm. So some RFAs on the block for the Red Wings. Nick Schmaltz, Kasperi Kapanen. Some okay players in Edmonton. Hutton and Pinelli in Florida. Not really seeing a lot on the trading block that's interesting. Novak, but 2 years. Vladar. Yeah, I'm honestly not seeing anything much on the trade front other than Timo Meier. I mean, Timo Meier's 34 already, but he's only making $5 million for 2 more seasons. That's not terrible. And he does bring a good chunk of offense. Timo Meier might be an okay player, but obviously we already have some good wingers like Irving, Grosek, so it wouldn't really make much sense unless we wanted to play Grosek in the third line again this season, or Meier drops off and becomes more of a third liner. So I don't know if that really makes much sense. Also, the Devils would probably look for picks in exchange, my guess. I don't really know. What else we got here? Not really seeing much else, though. Anthony Duclair at 35. He's already dropping off. Yeah, there's not really much on the trading block at this point in the offseason. Georgiev, don't really need another goaltender, but thank you. Elias Lindholm with 1 year left's not bad, but we don't really need centers. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything trade-wise that I would actually jump on that much. It would have to probably be a signing, and then we'd probably have to look through some other teams in general just to see what we could trade to them to get a better player or something like that. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to free agency. We might bring back Charlie McAvoy for our defense or somebody else in, or we might just promote from within in our AHL just because we might as well. and that way we could see what those youngsters are made of. But I think our team's obviously going to be really good again next season because our offensive core is filthy at the moment. It's just more the defensive core that's obviously a little bit worse because of Charlie leaving. So let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.